Hey, what's going on, guys? It's No Shoes, and welcome back to another Technique Tuesday. Today, we're going to be reacting to Peruvian cocaine. This was suggested by El Lechero, so thank you, El Lechero, for the suggestion. Keep them coming in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. But without any further ado, let's get right into it. Let's see what Peruvian cocaine is all about. Let's see what Immortal Technique has to say. Let's get it.
I've heard whispers about the financial support your government receives from the drug industry.
Well, the irony of this, of course, is that this money, which is in the billions, is coming from your country. You see, you are the major purchaser of our national product, which is, of course, cocaine.
On one hand, you're saying the United States government is spending millions of dollars to eliminate the flow of drugs onto our streets. At the same time, we are doing business with the very same government that is flooding our streets with cocaine.
See. Let me show you a few of the other characters that are involved in this tragic comedy.
Interesting. Nice sample to start. Sounds like we're talking about the CIA here, right? The CIA funding, bringing in cocaine and everything. I don't know exactly the whole story of their involvement, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty much fact at this point that that's exactly what happened. But let's see where it takes us.
You a few of the other characters that are involved in this tragic comedy.
I'm on the border of.
Love the panning of those vocals at the beginning. Well, right after the sample, they're just after the beginning, but having them on either side, creating that feeling of a conversation. It's almost like they're talking like behind you. I can feel it in like the back of my ears, if that makes any sense. But nice way to start off the track. Wish I could understand Spanish better, but you know, high school didn't do me too well with that. But let's see where it goes.
I'm on the border of Bolivia, working for pennies, treated like a slave. The coca fields have to be ready. The spirit of my people is starving, broken and sweaty, dreaming about revolution, looking at my machete. But the workload is too heavy to rise up in arms, and if I ran away, I know they'd probably murder my moms. So I pray to Jesucristo when I go to the mission, process the cocaine paste and play my position.
Okay, listen, while
Okay, interesting. So we're getting a little bit of a storytelling track here. Immortal Technique, he's taken on the character of being a worker on one of these farms where their end product is cocaine, you know, growing coca trees or leaves, or I don't know exactly what the plant's called. But regardless, nice imagery coming in, talking about, you know, if he quits, they might come for his mom. He's out there he's got his machetes, working for pennies, all these different things. And it sounds like we might have a feature, or at least, oh, everybody is on this track. It features Tone Deaf, Pumpkinhead, Poison Pen, Lucifer, spelled very differently, Lucifer, maybe a better way to put it, Diabolic, and C. Ray Walls. Okay. This is only a 5-minute song. That is a lot of people. Let's see how this all fits together, yo. I don't know what to expect anymore.
But the workload is too heavy to rise up in arms, and if I ran away, I know they'd probably murder my moms. So I pray to Jesucristo when I go to the mission, process the cocaine paste and play my position.
okay, listen, Juan Valdez, just get me my product before we chop off your hands for workers' misconduct. I got the power to shoot a copper and not get charged, and it would be sad to see your family in front of a firing squad. So to feed your kids, I need the
Yeah, that would be horrific to see a family in front of a firing squad. Not just sad, but I like the vibe of it, man. Kind of like a slow dum da da dum da da dum da da dum da da, like a kind of like plotting feel, with like plotting with two D's, not two T's, by the way. Let's keep it rolling.
Workers' misconduct, I got the power to shoot a copper and not get charged. And it would be sad to see your family in front of a firing squad. So to feed your kids, I need these bricks. 40 tons in total, let me test it. Indeed, shit, this is good. Pass me a tissue and don't worry about them. I paid off the official.
Yo, it don't come as a challenge. I'm the son of.
Hey, that's interesting. Said you need to pay your kids. You need to feed your kids. I need these bricks. So it kind of sounds like maybe this is whoever's voice that is. I have no idea, by the way, taking on the role of like the dealer in this scenario. Maybe the person running the farm doesn't seem to have much sympathy for the workers, but I would be surprised if he did. Very interesting. And the switch from Immortal Technique, who has a very piercing voice, to a much softer voice. At first, it was a little jarring for me, and I was like, can I really hear what he's saying? But after, the first bar or two, you get acclimated, and then, it's clear. It's coming through just fine.
Bricks, 40 tons in total, let me test it. Indeed, shit, this is good. Pass me a tissue and don't worry about them. I paid off the official.
Yo, it don't come as a challenge. I'm the son of some of the foulest, elected by my people. The only one on the ballot, born and bred to consort with feds. I laugh at fate and assassinate my predecessor to have his place in a third world fashion state. Lock the nation with 90% of the wealth and 10% of the population. A central intelligence agency takes weight faithfully. The finest type of China white and cocaine, you'll see. Honey, I'm home. Never mind what you're bank.
Ooh, very nice feel to it. It's super quick transitions, and it's almost a little overwhelming because it's not so far away, but it's also just completely different than the structure most of us are used to. Most rappers hop on a track, they spit a 16-bar verse, there's a hook in between, then the next verse comes, and that's where the feature artist would come in, or, maybe there's not even a hook in between, it's just verse, 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 if you're doing like a cypher type of setup. Regardless, very interesting setup. They're doing 8-bar verses, it's very quick transitions. Like I said, there are so many people on this track, and they're all adding like a slightly different facet or perspective on the whole cocaine smuggling, growing, U.S. operations, all of that.
Central intelligence agency takes weight faithfully. The finest type of China white and cocaine, you'll see. Honey, I'm home. Never mind when your bank account suddenly grown. It's funny, we're so out of this debt for this money we owe with ya. When have I told you that I had 2 governments overthrown to keep our son enrolled in a private school and to keep our tummy swollen? Come on, our fucking home was built in a
son in private school and tummies swollen. So we go from Immortal making pennies to this guy right here. They got everything. They're doing just fine. They got everything they need. They got the luxuries. Wild, man. Such quick changes. Like, wacky.
When have I told you that I had 2 governments overthrown to keep our son enrolled in a private school and to keep our tummy swollen? Come on, our fucking home was built on a foundation of bloody throats, the hungry stolen of their souls. Of course this country's running coke. I took a stunning oath to hush the ones who know. The CIA conducts the flow for these young hustlers that lust for dough.
I work in the hood, hit my connect. That's what's really good and supply work to the hood.
And the interplay of the flows work really well. Immortal Technique, then on to the second verse. They're really rapping with the beat. They're dum da da dum da da. They're hitting that plot. They're just kind of walking along with it. Then we get to the third and fourth verses. Start to push more into the beat, really drive it, and keep that momentum going forward. Now we're here at the fifth verse. We're pulling back a little bit again, letting it slow down again for a second. Beautiful way to do it.
Hood, hit my connect. That's what's really good and supply work to the hood. These suits fucking crack me up. Scrutinized like we inferior. Petrified when we meet in my area. My groove will shoot till I say so. You got the loot, give me the yay yay. Like ice cube, so don't play with my yay yo. We won't stop for you bastards. My street scramblers, chop it and bag it.
Taking pictures and tapping phones, debating snitches and cracking.
And there's some nice layering going on throughout this track as well. It kind of comes and goes. in the middle here between like the fourth and fifth verses, I think is where we're getting the most of that layering so far. Kind of some places it's like slightly desynced from the top layer, so then you get a little bit of like bubbling, almost like they're ad libs behind the vocal, even though they are reinforcing that main layer. Interesting feel, man. Interesting track. It's like a very small cipher.
Stop it and bag it.
Taking pictures and tapping phones, debating snitches and cracking codes. Fast the cuff or blast the foe on any hustler stacking dough. This pump and crack a blow. And my overtime is where your taxes go. Or gain your trust, get you to hand wait to us. Cause we paid up front on the low with cameras taping ya. Getting pop away, the prison sentence is doomed. Make the collar to leave with 2 keys
Out the evidence room went my fame. Truck, boat, or plane, they watching you. You think you got work? They copping too. We control.
Let's bring that back. Very smooth transitions as well for how much change we're having in this track, just between the people, the flows, the voices. They're, like I said, they're moving that energy well, and it's working very smoothly how they're moving between each other. And there's really like no clear transition points in the instrumental. It's pretty much just looping. So then we're getting all of that direction from the vocal.
the collar to leave with 2 keys
Out the evidence room went my fame. Truck, boat, or plane, they watching you. You think you got work? They copping too. We control blocks. They lock countries and own companies. We had nice cars and sneaker money. Now it's players out there talking about they holding with bugs in their house like they down south with windows open. Your dough ain't long, you wrong, you take shorts and soon. Feds will be up in your mouth like forks and spoons. So enjoy the rush, live plush off coke bread. Soon you'll
Be up in your mouth like forks and spoons. Bring that back. What's that all about?
long, you wrong, you take shorts and soon. Feds will be up in your mouth like forks and spoons. So enjoy the rush, live plush off coke bread. Soon you'll be in a cell with me, like Jenny Lopez. In the school, I was a bully, now life is fully a joke. I keep afloat on a boat for Peruvian coke. Players do favors for governors and tax makers. Fat Quakers smoke crack and sex acts with bad mayors. The walls got ears, you
Nice rhymes, going from like fat Quakers to bad mayors. Nice, like slight bends in there. Nothing too crazy. It's a cool track, man. I I feel like I need a good couple listens through this, but it's a nice simple composition on the count of the instrumental. It's like I said, the instrumental is just looping this whole time. Nothing's really changing there. And then all these different verse transitions. Sometimes the verses seem to be a little bit longer than 8 bars, but when we were starting out, it was definitely about 8 bars each. Some great layering coming in. There's been like this walkie-talkie or like old telephone um vocal coming in the back every so often, especially around the transition between, I don't even know at this point, like the 6th and 7th verse or the 5th and 6th. I'm losing track. But let's keep it rolling.
tax makers. Fat Quakers smoke crack and sex acts with bad mayors. The walls got ears, you big mouths probably scared. Not prepared to do years like Javier.
Okay.
The story just told is an example of the path that drugs take on their way to every neighborhood in every state in this country. It's a lot deeper than the niggas on your block. So when they point the finger at you, brother man, this is what you gotta tell them.
I'm not guilty. You're the one.
Hold up, I paused that at the perfect time. We'll listen to the rest of that. But that's beautiful, man. Or maybe not beautiful. Maybe it's sad that that's the story. But that's a great way to construct a track. There are all these different people involved, the person growing it, to the person running the farm, to the person who finds the buyer, to the person who smuggles it, in a plane and throws it out in a bale into Florida or whatever it is they're doing, and then the person who goes and retrieves that bale, and then the people they disseminate that to. And like he said, it's way deeper than the people on your block. It's starting somewhere. The government's been involved. The governments of multiple countries, not only our own. Um, and just the wild journey it took us on there, man. I've barely absorbed it, but I'll definitely be listening to this some more.
It's a lot deeper than the niggas on your block. So when they point the finger at you, brother man, this is what you gotta tell them.
I'm not guilty. You're the one who's guilty. Lawmakers, the politicians, the Colombian drug lords, all you who lobby against making drugs legal, just like you did with alcohol during the Prohibition. You're the one who's guilty. I mean, come on, let's kick the ballistics here. Ain't no Uzis made in Harlem. Not one of us in here owns a poppy field. This thing is bigger than
Immortal technique.
This is big business. This is the American way.
This is bigger than Immortal technique, just like inserted in. That could have been smoothed out a little bit. But beyond my laughing, that he makes a very real and serious point, and that's the thing that kills me at the end of the day. And what I think is so funny when, you talk to people about, like, well, what if Bush did 9/11, or, all those different things, and they're like, our government, they love us. They would never do that to us. Look at what they've done. Be honest with yourself. Look at some of these declassified documents and tell me it's not at least possible. CIA being involved in all of this, the lawmakers, it's really easy to create criminals when you're the one who creates laws and you get to decide what is wrong and right in the world. And then you put people in prison and behind bars just because a bunch of people said that's wrong. I'm not saying I think Coke is great, but let's be real about what's really going on here. Regardless, I could ramble all day, and maybe you would enjoy watching that. But that was Peruvian Cocaine from Immortal Technique. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was suggested by El Lechero, so keep those coming in the comments down below. I want to hear what you guys want to see. Don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit that bell if you want to see more videos like this. Much love to everybody in the No Shoes Gang, and I'll see you all next time.